The Short Game is listener-supported on Patreon. If you'd like to support the show and join us on our Discord, head to theshortgame.net or patreon.com/theshortgame.
Welcome back to The Short Game. This is a show about short video games, games that respect your time. I am Reagan Kelly, and I am joined this week by my full crime crew.
Nate Heininger.
Laura Nash.
And despicable criminal Shane Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
And this week we're doing a thing. I don't even know how to describe it, so I'm going to turn it over for explanation to Laura, who proposed this topic episode.
Yes, we are doing our first ever short game draft.
Yes.
It would make sense for our first one to be drafting favorite games, but no, we are drafting a heist team of characters from games we've played on the show. So we'll be picking 5 people, our heist crew. They can be getaway drivers, locksmen, conmen, card players, masterminds, tech people, anything we want. We just have to describe what they're doing on the team. Rules are, once a game is gone, it is gone for everybody. So, with all the many characters in Kirby and Forgotten Land, if someone picks Kirby, that game's off the board.
So the rule is that if somebody picks something from a game, then we can't pick anything else.
Any other characters from the game.
Oh no!
Yeah,
that even harder.
It's maximum chaos.
Yeah, one clarifying question though for you. I don't even know if this comes into play or not, but if we've covered games where there's multiple titles in the franchise, if we take a character from one of the titles, does that remove the entire franchise or just the single title?
We can, as a group, decide, like, if we've played 2 Zeldas, I don't think Link's different. But, right? But, like, if there's a character that's only in one of them,
okay,
sure.
Okay.
I have Link, Young Link, and Toon Link.
I do on the eligible character list have Cat Mario, so I apparently was trying to fit.
Well, I think the challenge that this introduces is that when you're making a team for a heist, it's absolutely essential that you get a group of people that work together as a cohesive team.
Mm-hmm.
And how can you have a cohesive team that's, you might pick Mario.
Shane, I don't know if you've been watching the same heist movies that I have, but the whole thing with heist movies is a gang of misfit weirdos who seem like they're coming from completely different worlds.
But they somehow come together through the beauty of justification. And that, my friends, is your job as the person picking the team.
All right.
Yeah, and before we started, we picked draft order. We'll be going in snake style, which means it'll go forward and then backwards.
Serpentine.
It'll make more sense when we're doing it. But if you're like, why is Reagan doing multiple picks in a row? That's why. Anything
it's
else?
I'm the coolest.
It's because you're the
I
coolest.
get to do 2 at a time.
But you're not the coolest because Nate got the number 1 heist draft pick.
That's right.
So,
and, Are we?
I think Laura already mentioned this, but we also have to tell what role on our heist crew these people have, right?
Yeah. Say the name of the character, the game they're from, and then like what the heck they're doing.
Okay. So I had to, it's been a while since I watched a good heist movie. And so I had to go and check. Laura very helpfully linked to the Caper Crew TV Tropes article. If
it's extensive.
Listeners are listening along at home, there's a great TV Tropes article outlining various roles within a typical heist team, caper crew, etc., categorized into various categories and subcategories. I'm going to be making heavy use of this.
Yes. Yeah. And I think as the draft goes on and the games get gotten, we will be using that list more and more to be like, distraction.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely had to really look over it for a couple, because if we're picking 5, I knew who my first 3 were instantaneously, and hopefully I get them. And if any of you take them, there will be consequences.
And then we just fill out the team with fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm ready to go if you guys are.
Yeah, Nate. Yeah. What's your strategy? What's your first pick?
Ooh, okay. So this is heavy because there's a couple people that I really want, and I'm trying to not just make sure that I make a good team, but I have to all of you get 2 picks before my next pick. And so there's one franchise that I think at least one of you was going to pull from in this first round or these first 2 rounds.
Everyone looks so scared, listeners.
So,
Everyone looks terrified.
I'm nervous.
So every good heist needs a mastermind, someone who's looking down from above, ensuring everything is in working order and everything is up to the standards that we expect in a heist. And I can think of no one better suited for that than the king of all cosmos from Katamari Damacy. You know he's going to keep the team together. He's going to keep them in line. He's not afraid to tell people the truth.
He's going to gather them up into a ball. He's going to hold them in the palm of his hand.
And if anybody gets out of line, they get fired into space to become a star or something. So that is my first pick, the king of all cosmos from Katamari Damacy.
And what is the plot of Katamari Damacy except the world's greatest heist?
It really is. It's a heist game at its core.
First, he steals all the stars in the sky, followed by which his son, following in his footsteps, steals literally everything on Earth.
I thought about doing the prince as like my getaway vehicle, which is just
if you're trying to get away into the darkness of space,
rolling everything away. But you got to go with the mastermind in this opportunity. And so King of all cosmos, first off the board. Laura, I believe you are up next.
Yeah, your heist has such a clear purpose. I envy you. I am nervous because I think my team falls apart without this person, and I don't think it's going to go soon, but it's too important to my team. So I'm not going to go for my mastermind. I'm going for my fixer, driver, basically every labor role. He's an acrobat. He can get you anything at any time. It's Passepartout from 80 Days, the most useful man. He's been in a war. He was in the circus. He can literally drive any vehicle, get any vehicle at any time, and he can get you anything, anywhere.
Every good heist needs a famous lover as well, and he's a lover and a fighter. So.
And I think every good heist team needs someone with an accent. That's just me.
Honestly, I think you could put him in almost any role
category.
Yeah.
He's my generalist because if any role goes, I'm just like, well, Passepartout will fill that blanket. That's why I'm picking him number 1. I don't think anyone's going for 80 Days, but like
he was on my list, Laura. I wasn't taking him first overall, but if he was still there at my next pick, I was thinking about it.
Oh wow. Well, I think that it is smart to make your first pick based on something that you know is going to go fast. And that lots of people are going to want something from. Big, cool casts of characters are early draft picks here. And that's why I think if you need that person to build your team around that's going to be the mastermind, someone who is going to know what's worth stealing, I think you want Hades from Hades.
I knew Hades was going round 1. I just didn't know what was going to get picked.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
You know, you could pick Zagreus. He seems like he's great. He'd be a generalist, but there's a lot of great generalists in video games. I don't know if there's a lot of great masterminds.
Yeah.
So what do you have for that one, Reagan?
I give a lot of thought to this too, and so I get 2 picks here, which is helpful. So I get to pick twice. So I don't have to pick my mastermind first, but I do want to pick the 2 that I want to make sure that I get off the board. And the first thing that came to mind, the very first thing that came, I'm thinking, okay, it's a heist. What do you do in a heist? Think back to all the heist movies I've ever seen, and invariably, in one of them, they got to build a tunnel, right? There's always a tunnel.
Oh my God.
You always
you do normally need a tunnel. You're absolutely
almost every
right.
heist.
And
whether it's a tunnel through a wall,
even Rafifi, they go through the ceiling.
If you're
there's always a
what are
tunnel.
you even doing? if you're heisting.
If you're not tunneling, it's not a heist. It's a crime, but it's not a heist, right?
Yeah.
At the very least, you need a demolitions expert.
Exactly.
I've never been convinced of something so quickly in my entire life.
Something I had never considered and immediately convinced.
Yes. So it's not a heist without a tunnel. And so who better than the absolute king of drilling, Susumu Hori, from the Mr. Driller franchise.
When I saw that on the list, I was like, Reagan's going to take Mr. Driller.
Yes.
He's got a big family, too. He's got a lot of contacts.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let me say, Susumu Hori, ideal. First of all, golden boy. People will look at him and think there's no way he could commit a crime.
He's your George Clooney.
He's a sweet-faced, pink-wearing golden boy, and everybody loves him. But he loves to drill. He could easily be convinced to be on this heist team because of the challenge of the drilling involved, regardless of what it is.
He's a worldwide celebrity, Reagan. He's saved the world from, like, I don't know, drill spirits a bunch of times, right?
Yeah,
so how are you going to convince that guy to do crimes with you?
I think he just likes to drill.
Exactly. You just gotta have him drill in something interesting, and he'll be down. So I know he's down for it.
He has his own theme
he's got
park,
a lot of contacts.
for God's sake.
Yep. He's got, but you know what? He's rich, but he's in it for the love of the drilling, and I just know we can get him on the team. Also, maybe he's got a chip on his shoulder about his famous dad, Mr. Dig Dug Taizo Hori. And he wants to overshadow, his dad's famous name, and maybe he does that by committing the heist of the century. You never know.
I don't know why you didn't just pick him. First off, he's the OG. Give me the original Dig Dug guy, and then not the Goody Two Shoes kid.
Well, first of all, we never covered Dig Dug on the show, so he's not valid. But also, Susumu Hori is my favorite little boy. Yeah. So let's be honest. Okay. And then I also gave it some thought. Every heist has a mastermind, right? But you really need a double purpose, right? You can't have somebody whose only job is sitting at a desk and thinking of mean, cruel, bad ideas, right? You need somebody who has utility to the team. They're not just a mastermind. They're also a hacker. They're also a 3D printer, and they're also a vending machine. It's NeoVend 33 from Citizen Sleeper. Not only is he,
critical,
she, it, a supreme machine intelligence who's been forced to hide out in a disused and dusty vending machine in the corner of the Eye space station. By the way, one of my favorite characters. Nothing better than a sarcastic vending machine. Also, great illustration. I love everything about NeoVend as a character. But NeoVend, like I said, supreme utility. Definitely has what it takes to be a criminal mastermind. Definitely has what it takes to be the hacker and tech person of the group. But in every heist, you're gonna need. Oh no, we need the key for the box or whatever, right? 3D print it, baby. You got one. He's ready to go. He does it all. So I think NeoVend is going to be my mastermind.
Solid choice. 1-2 of Mr. Driller and NeoVend.
Insert cash or select payment type.
Yeah. All right, Shane.
Back to you.
This one is going to be a little tough because I had my eye on Katamari Damacy.
I knew it. Shane, you were who I was thinking of. Why
I had a backup, yeah.
But I mean, I think the slot that I have next is for, Reagan has kind of made me think maybe you do need a face character for your video game heist that's kind of a good boy, right? But also super adaptable, unstoppable, and that's why I will go ahead and get Kirby.
I knew somebody was going to take Kirby off.
You're going to have the most body count in your heist by having Kirby on. Kirby just murders everyone, and that's not a bad thing.
Just think about like he's he's the only character I could think of who's kind of a helicopter. So, getting out is not going to be a problem. He could suck up the whatever we're stealing and fly away. I think we're in pretty good shape.
As of the most recent, he can also be a getaway car.
Yeah, he could be a getaway car. Absolutely.
The face / the heavy / the car is the
Yeah.
I feel like on one level,
Getaway driver / car.
having like cosmic level powers is probably a bit much for a heist team. But then again, then we'd have to apply the same to King of all Cosmos.
Yeah,
So-
no, this is exactly why we're doing this exercise.
Yeah, we could also play, like, if you have to role play your heist, probably the enemies will scale up too. It's no fun if it's not.
I know we were down on the idea of a cohesive team from the jump, but I do think it's important to think about these characters working together. And I can imagine Kirby, doing something for Hades.
Yeah, definitely a pairing written in the
Sent on
stars.
some quest
Love
to
it.
save Dreamland.
Yes, very nice. Well, for my next pick, I'm going to go philosophical for a second. Like, what is a heist movie in a con? It's you think everything's going one way, and then that illusion breaks, and you find out it's actually been something else the whole time. What is a con? But giving someone the impression that they've had free will the whole time, and you're like, nope, I engineered all these decisions, and thus my mastermind is the narrator from the Stanley Parable.
Nice.
Oh,
Doesn't have to be present in the world to rig the entire game. I also like the idea of having a built-in narrator for my movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I can picture like a Danny Ocean style character who isn't actually part of the heist, but is just like making jokes about it the whole time while engineering everything.
Your heist just became easily the most enjoyable heist out of all of these.
I'm going for like a good time.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I'm going to really get away with doing, we'll see how big the heist can get by the end, but it's going to be like Passepartout and the narrator so far having a real good time.
They're having a great time. Well, we're kind of building opposite teams here, Laura. So I've got King of all Cosmos, and I think a good heist team needs a heavy, right? You need someone who can, really enforce their will, really make some space, and really ensure that everyone gets in and out safely. But I also think, that's kind of limiting. I want someone who can be both a heavy, but also maybe a little sneaky too. Maybe you need someone to get into the building first in a way that no one was expecting. Set up the trap. So for my second pick, I am taking Yuga Ganon from A Link Between Worlds.
Oh my god! For the class, can you describe Yuga Ganon?
Yuga Ganon is a combination of the monster Yuga and Ganon, and he's a big. What even is he? He's got a giant frill and a giant staff, and he can flatten himself perfectly against walls and become a 2D Ganon and pop out and become a 3D Ganon. So I'm thinking my Yuga Ganon can slip in through a crack in the wall, in the door, whatever it may be, and pop out. And, maybe that's how we get into the vault. I don't know. But I think he's got a lot of versatility and he's incredibly strong. And as long as Link isn't in the defensive forces of of the place that we're heisting, he's generally successful until Link shows up. So Yuga Ganon is my second pick. And for my third pick, I think that
I gotta say, who wants to work with that guy?
Apparently, the King of all Cosmos does.
You've definitely got a weird vibe on your team. I wouldn't be joining up, but all right.
King of all Cosmos is very authoritative. I think could handle Yuga Ganon, but
they're getting the job done. This team is.
All right.
We are going for different teams.
With my next pick, I think it's really important that the team have an emotional core as well. We obviously have some chaos choices with Yuga Ganon and King of All Cosmos. So I want someone who is feelings first, and maybe they don't completely understand them, but maybe they can lead to some catharsis. Maybe they'll help the group find themselves a little bit better along the way, while also being incredibly agile and very, very smart. From maybe my favorite game of all time that we've covered on the show, I'm selecting Battlein from Celeste.
Ooh.
That is Madeline's sort of other half that helps them climb the mountain, both literally.
I was sure you were going to pick Madeline. We actually talked about it before the show. I was like, he's gonna grab Madeline.
Yeah, well,
Madeline is an even better pick.
Thank you. So.
I mean, you're assembling a crime team, and Battlein deserves to be on it. Oh, what role is Battlein playing on the team, though?
I think like there's often someone, the actual role they're playing. She might be, they might be like a scout or maybe a face, someone who's in there first. They're very talkative and very able to, very connected with themselves. But the real thing they're accomplishing is really that emotional core of the team, which I think everybody needs.
I will continue to not have an emotional core on my team with my next pick. Going with my heart and my strategy, I'm going to go with the more fun pick. He's a nightclub owner. He's a casino owner. He's a skeleton. It's Manny Calavera from Grim Fandango.
Nice.
Yeah. Because I'm going full Ocean's 11 style heist. Passepartout and the narrator and Manny are going to do something in his casino. He owns it. He owns the nightclub. He has the restaurant. He's great at cards. He's cheating. Like, Manny is going to be able to get us the access we need. And if he's in on it, like, you get the casino in on your heist, like, you can take down a heavy roller together. And that's what we're doing tonight.
You have quite the handsome team you're putting together here.
I'm going on looks, and I will continue to. And that's a hint for what's coming up.
Yeah.
I'm torn between a few different names here, but there is one that I'm really keep thinking about as maybe just being perfect, like literally built for heists.
Ooh.
And this is an android designed specifically for thievery. I am going to choose GR74, or AKA Jack, the cyber ninja ghost runner from the game Ghost Runner.
Nice.
Sweet game, but also just, don't you want to have a ghost runner on your team? Like a cyborg, cyberpunk ninja is going to do infiltration and hacking for you?
I remember, all the classic heist movies I've ever seen. They've got the team breaking into the casino. They've all got their finery on. They've got cocktails and everything, and they're doing. And one of them's a robot running. Yeah, a lot of wall running. Wall running. Classic role, definitely. Man, did you guys see the announcement for? I'm so glad they're doing a second one of those. I loved that game.
Yeah.
It was incredible, and I don't know, like, very often when you get these games that are really borderline for us, that are like maybe that was a bit of a stretch in terms of length. It just barely fit within our remit, and I don't know whether a second one of those will stay short. That often happens. They end up like being a little longer for the sequel. But man, I still really want to play that. That game was awesome. I think in a lot of ways that kind of like did Mirror's Edge stuff that was better than Mirror's Edge, or at least I kind of thought of it as like, like when you're playing Mirror's Edge and you're like, well, why don't I have a sword? Like that's.
I think it's more fair to say it's a natural evolution of Mirror's Edge, right? Like Mirror's Edge is like 15 years old at this point.
Okay, that's fair enough. True. Also, man, I love that game. very excited when they announced the sequel. Sorry, is it me next?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so.
Okay. I get to do 2 picks again. Very cool.
Yes.
So again with the order. So every heist team needs the face, right?
Mhm.
The handsome guy, the guy who's there to, just generally be the handsome guy on the team. Doesn't need to be smart. Maybe he needs to be able to talk to people, but doesn't really need to be, but also crimes, needs to be down for the crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm picking Gregg. Gregg rules, okay?
Oh man!
No. Yeah.
Excellent.
I can't believe Night in the Woods made it this far.
I was shocked, but yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great pick.
Yeah, Night in the Woods is one of my favorite games. But apart from that, Gregg does crimes, man. And Gregg has a cool leather jacket. Gregg has a cool tattoo of a sheep on his arm. Gregg knows how to use a knife, or doesn't, but can fake it.
Critical.
He's got cool boots, man. His boots are awesome. He's the face, man. He's also very handsome. Look at that incredible, handsome dude. Gregg rules. Okay. And he's looking for an out from his job at the Snack Falcon, right? He's looking to move on. He's looking for that big score. So he's gonna be my guy. And now I had Kirby on my list as the muscle, right? Like you do, because aim high, Kirby, he's the ultimate muscle in a sense. I don't know if he actually has muscles.
Strong silent type.
Yeah. Whatever he is, he's the thing. But failing that, I had to rethink, well, what does the muscle mean? You just need somebody who's willing and able to kill in the furtherance of your scheme. Someone who's single-minded.
And that was Gregg, huh?
No. This is my next one, Shane. I get 2 picks.
Gregg was the face.
Gregg does rule, but I don't know if I trust him to be
and
the
killing
ruthless
people
killer.
Doesn't rule.
Well, that's right. But who I do trust to commit murder is Victoria Valencia.
No, that was my next pick.
I know, I got it. Yeah.
Oh no.
From Overboard. I think first of all, she's classy. She's like if you need the dame, the femme fatale, Victoria Valencia, she's got it in spades. She's cool, but also by the end of that game, no spoilers here, she's killed in a bunch of ways and has no qualms about it. She'll just do it. She'll just bump people off. And I think she's definitely the muscle and also the femme fatale that my team needs.
I think we can already tell this episode is successful because I've never heard Laura emote in the way that she just did in my entire time of knowing her. So
she was my Laura. No. I was like, I don't know which one. I was like, if anyone's doing Grim Fandango, I was like, you just can't have a casino heist with a casino. I was between those two. She was going to be my roper. That's the bait. Because I can't think of anybody better suited to pull people in. She's good muscle too, but I will be doing some reworking while Shane does his pick.
Sure.
All right, Shane, what's your next pick?
My choice for my next pick is someone that I just think would work well in a heist situation. Very technical, very paranoid. Someone who can make gadgetry and really, I think, although paranoid, has the right outlook on the world. I'm choosing Snorpington Snorpy Fizzlebean from Bug Snacks. I think he would be easy to get into. I think you could convince him to get on the team, and he would, in several scenes, probably really save the day. We'll see.
Nice.
I love Snorpy. Snorpy is one of my favorites.
I have Bug Snacks on the mind right now because I had an experience I've never had before, which was racing against time to complete a video game before it's removed from a streaming service. I really wanted to finish Bug Snacks, and I have been playing Bugsnax on and off for many months with Ty.
Mhm.
And then I heard that it was leaving Game Pass, and I I made the mistake of telling my son that it was leaving Game Pass.
Oh no.
And so he was desperate for us to finish this game because he was like, well, what happens if it's off of Game Pass? Are we not going to be able to play it anymore? I'm like, no. Well, I mean, I guess we could buy it. It's like, well, does it cost a lot of money to buy the game? How does commerce work? I need to be reassured that we'll finish this game. And so it was a mad dash. It was our own heist. And great game. Great, fantastic game. He is now a huge Young Horses fan who is playing Octodad on his iPad.
I love this for him. That's so good. I am going to still feel my Roper Dame, but it's going to cast a dark shadow on my team. But I'm going to go with it anyway. I'm going to put Marissa Marcel from Immortality on my team.
Again with the OP picks, guys. Come on.
No spoilers.
No spoilers, but and a spoiler free. I mean, actress, beautiful, constantly pulling
She's charming.
men into orbit, charming as heck, can hold herself on a talk show, versatile, master of disguise, can change her. Looks good in multiple wigs.
Disguise.
Looks good in multiple wigs. I don't know what you're talking about. So my new femme fatale is Marissa Marcel, and hopefully my team of all men doesn't get taken down by her. That's a risk.
It might be, yeah. It'd be the kind of heist where when it's done, the heist team all turns on themselves too, and there's really one winner out of the whole thing, which is always a good heist.
Marissa is walking away with the bag, right?
Marissa's walking away with the bag, and the narrator is just trying to make a joke out of it, but the narrator no longer has a joke. It'll be very good. I have to think about my round 5 character of whom I'm cursing. But Nate, you got 2 picks.
These are my last 2 picks. We've been flying through this game, folks. Okay, so been thinking about this for a while, and I think even though my team is generally agile between Badalin and Yuga Ganon, I still think I need a guy who is focused on the getaway. And Shane, I was a little worried you were about to take him because of the way you were describing him. This guy is super comfortable in a difficult environment. He loves gadgets. He is known for creating devices that allow you to travel at high speeds. I think he's an invaluable member of the team, and he'll get his hands dirty if he needs to. He'll go from getaway guy to right in the mix. I'm taking from Sonic Mania, Dr. Robotnik.
Oh my God.
Is on my team. I can also say from the murder. Yeah, I want a guy who looks like Reagan. You got to have that on your team. So Dr. Robotnik, come on down. You're on the team.
Yes, that's right. For the listeners who've never seen me in real life, I do have a spherical body and tiny little dangly legs.
We call him Eggman. Yeah. So, yeah, Eggman himself is on my team. I think he's going to fit right in. And then finally, I got a team of baddies. I need a face. None of these guys are really going to be able to handle any of even just going to the store to pick up some of the supplies we need. None of them are going to be able to accomplish that without chaos and mayhem. So I need someone who fits right in. They won't cause a scene. They're just a regular, normal dad. I'm taking Octodad from Octodad.
No! Okay, Nate. Okay. I had a whole plan for Octodad. My plan was for Octodad to be the fall guy, to be the guy that the new meat brought along on the on the heist. He's in it just to I don't know, get his kids out of college debt or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then we leave him. He's a putz.
Nope.
You'll leave him at the scene of the crime, high and dry. Everyone sees he's an octopus, and they're and he goes to jail, and everyone else gets out scot-free. Now I got to come up with something different.
He's
Yeah,
joined
it's not
my
like he can
team.
explain.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's not gonna.
That sounds like a great plan, but I think he fits right in with my team, and we're not going to leave him behind.
Ganon and Octodad hanging out.
We're not leaving him behind. He's an integral part to our team. We got him at the very least. He's holding on to the treasure. He's not going to drop it. You gotta have someone on your team who has suction cup hands. Yeah, I mean, what heist movie doesn't have a person with suction cups for hands? So,
True.
Pretty obvious. Can't believe he made it all the way to the 5th round. So that concludes my team. I guess at the end we'll run down and we'll do our five people. So, Laura, it's back to you.
Yes. So I got my generalist mastermind. I got my face/casino owner. I've got my dubious roper bait. But what I don't have is just like a big distraction. And so I'm taking the pack of mean teens from White Ocean Big Jacket because they are going to be, again, casino heist. So there's a lot of teenagers. They're going to be loud and distracting so that I can always pull them off.
What casino have you been to that is full of teenagers?
Oh, well, his is a nightclub, a restaurant, and a casino. So
okay.
they can go around.
Yeah.
But also they're intimidating, so they can guard doors.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to go where the mean teens are. I thought about doing various actual muscles and heavies, but I was like, I don't want property destruction in Manny's building. I want this to be the kind of heist that you're embarrassed to say you've been stolen from.
Yeah, like where it like you don't even have to worry about the
it's the con, right?
Yeah, because
they're too embarrassed to call the cops.
Yeah.
And I feel like what's more embarrassing than like I didn't check the lock because there was a mean teen by the door.
There was a bunch of teens hanging out. Yeah.
100%. So when Marissa Marcel tries to fails and loses the man for a minute, the mean teen by the door is my backup plan.
There you go. Just keep Marissa away from the teens. They've got so much left to give.
She's not interested. Or is she?
Yeah, no, I could see how that would go, Nate. Yeah.
That would go bad.
Well,
Shane.
I think this is being my last pick, I have to look back at the whole like team and see kind of what is it missing, right? So I've got that Hades is going to know where to send them. Ghost Runner is going to get in there. Kirby is going to be able to grab whatever we need. Snorpy running interference the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. I think I have all the like main things you need covered. They're in and out fast, baby.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the characters, I think this is a high-tech heist, right?
Yeah.
And what's the problem that you have after your high-tech heist? What do you need on that team? Regardless, you need someone who knows, who might actually have a really, I really hated their video game, but they'll know what to do. And that is how to commit tax evasion. So we're going to have Turnip Boy from Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion to help us launder the money after the fact.
That's a good point.
And
no one knows what to do with the money.
Patsy. I don't care if he dies.
Right.
Love it.
Well, I have to replace my my fall guy, my Patsy. Originally was going to be Octo Dad, so I just hate to do it to him. I just hate to do it to him. But instead, the Bard is going down.
Oh my gosh!
He's a good boy. The Bard from Wander Song. He's one of my favorite for player characters of all time. He's a cheerful young.
I can't believe you've done this.
I know. I feel bad too, but you know what? That's the thing about these kinds of movies, these kinds of stories, is that, that the nice guy doesn't always get ahead in these. And that cheerful young guy, he'd go along because he loves going along. You bring him along on the adventure. You tell him, we're going to dig a hole. We're going to go in the hole and we're going to find some gold. It's going to be so fun.
We're dancing. We're dancing.
Dance the whole way. He'll do his little dance.
You wait in the car, buddy. Just wait for us to come out and then drive away when we're out of this hole we dug.
He's your baby driver.
Yeah. Wait right here. We'll be right back, buddy. And you're gone. And there he is, sitting and singing and tap dancing and waiting for the police to arrive. And when they get there, they're going to ask him what happened, and he's going to tell them all about it. But you didn't tell him real names, so he won't be able to incriminate you.
Wonderful. I almost picked the bad boyfriend from Unpacking as my fall guy.
You know what? That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, that guy was a D-bag. But you never actually see his face.
But you don't see his face.
Else.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know.
But he had swords. But no, the bard is a heartbreaking choice, and it makes a much more rich ending to your heist.
I just know that like Neovend and Gregg, they were, and Victoria of Valency, she was all about kneecapping the bard, right? She was all about throwing that little boy under the bus. Susumu, maybe he's got a little bit of that same vibes. Maybe that's what made the bard feel welcome on the team. But Susumu, when it comes down to it, he's gonna drill on through. He's gonna keep on drilling. He's not gonna be caught. No one's
what a turn
can't
for
cage
the
Susumu.
Last pick.
Yeah, well, there it is. Yep. So, okay, let's go over our whole lists, and then what I suggest is that listeners, I'll put a poll up on our Patreon page, and I'll link it in the show notes, and folks can vote on whose heist team you think would be the most successful heist team. I want to hear from the listeners what they think, and in the comments there, or on Mastodon or wherever you happen to contact us, or on our Discord, let us know what your video game heist team of all time would be. But why don't we go in same order? Nate, could you read off your heist draft?
Yes. So I've got the dream team here, an elite, competent group ready to heist anything and everything. The mastermind, king of all cosmos, keeping the team in line. The muscle and the thief at the same time. We've got Yuga Ganon from Link Between Worlds. Our emotional core, person who's keeping us centered and bringing that real character growth that we all really want out of a heist movie. We've got Battlein from Celeste. Our getaway gadget guru, and maybe backup mastermind, if things start to go downhill in the moment. Maybe King of All Cosmos has been distracted, yelling at his son or something. We've got Dr. Robotnik from the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic Mania. And then finally, our regular guy who is going to make sure we don't drop the treasure and, serve as just, everyone needs a plain guy on the team, just a regular normal dad. We've got Octodad rounding out the ranks.
All right.
You need some aloofness on your team, So I think he'll balance the team really well.
No one suspects a thing when it's Octodad.
No, well, he's a master of disguise, frankly. Mm-hmm. So that's another element of it that may come into play.
All right, Laura, what is your complete list?
I have a very slick team until the end. I've got Passepartout, who is my everything. Valet extraordinaire, acrobat, driver, fixer in general. The narrator from the Stanley Parable, providing color commentary and mastermind coordination and removing free will as well. Manuel Manly Calavera, he's the backer. He owns the casino. He's also great at cards, handsome as heck, and a con man. Marissa Marcel, a dip of danger in this nice bit. Beautiful femme fatale the bait, the roper, and then a squad of mean teens, because we don't want anyone calling the cops, and they're going to be too embarrassed to say they didn't figure it out because there were teens that were staring at them.
Yes. And Shane, what is your complete list?
Well, the team is going to start off brought together by Hades, the mastermind, and they're going to be running in to rob that casino with GR74, the Ghost Runner from Ghost Runner, bringing with him Kirby, the face, the muscle, and the getaway car. And on the way out,
and the like giant hammer if you need one, or the like whatever you need.
The whole way on the earpiece for both of them is even though Kirby doesn't have ears, he gets an earpiece. Is Snorpy from Bug Snacks, and waiting outside to help them fence their stolen data or whatever it is going to be Turnip Boy from Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion.
All right, and here's mine. Tunneling in underneath the target as Susumu Hori from the Mr. Driller series. He's the world's greatest tunneler and digger, and he's a natural fit on any heist. You always need a tunnel. Overseeing the project, we've got NeoVend33 from Citizen Sleeper. He's a mastermind. He's a ship mind. He's an AI. He's also a 3D printer. He's a very versatile tech boss mastermind. The face, the cool guy on the team, the one with the cool jacket. Here comes Gregg. Gregg rules, okay, from Night in the Woods. Veronica Valenci, the beautiful actress and incredibly diverse mass murderer from Overboard. She's it, man. She's my muscle. She's the one who gets it done. And finally, we're bringing along the Bard, and that poor guy's not making it out. He's going to jail.
It's rough to just plan for someone to not make it out.
Yeah, well, these kinds of things happen.
He's such a good boy.
Part of a successful heist.
He's too good for this world.
Too good for this world. That is part of the plot of the game.
Yeah.
So our teams are complete. Did anyone have anything they're surprised didn't get picked, or that they kind of had as a backup they wish someone had picked?
Yeah, I was absolutely shocked that someone did not pick Galerius from,
100%.
Yeah, yes. I was certain Reagan was.
I was certain Reagan was going to pick it.
You know, if I'd thought harder about that one, I might have. The perfect team up there would have been Veronica Valenci and Galerius, because she's, essentially time looping like the player character in that. And so she'd be able to, finish up one murder after another, one heist bit after another. And finally she'd come out of it and she'd just walk up to Galerius and say, Galerius, here, do these 33 crimes in a specific order, and then she can just go home and the heist is done for her.
Yeah.
I thought about picking someone from the Sexy Brutale, because everyone's got masks with cool superpowers, like
also
listen
true.
at a door, break glass, loop time. The other one I was really surprised is I thought, like, if I was going to do it doesn't belong in a museum, it belongs with me, like almost anybody in Heaven's Vault would have been incredibly eager to be in a heist.
Yeah, I was thinking
God, that was such a good game, man. Yeah. I can't wait for their next game, the like Highland Song thing. Yeah. I don't know to what degree it's going to be like an Inkle-ish game, because it's the first one that I remember with like seems like a clear like non-narrative text-driven like game-ass game kind of thing. It's got platforming. Yeah, that's weird for them, and I'm really excited to see how that turns out.
I trust.
I know it's still going to be them, right? And it's still going to be this like narrative thing. But like, I wonder how the platforming is going to turn out. I'm really curious.
I know.
Well, I was certain that there were two people that I almost took. One is the player character from Super Hot. I mean, name a better. Yeah, name a better like muscle than somebody who can literally freeze time and fire a weapon with extreme accuracy. And so I thought that was on my list, but I went a different route. And then Shell from Portal would be super powerful in a heist. I thought maybe GLaDOS as like a mastermind, but also GLaDOS doesn't succeed most of the time, so probably not the best mastermind, but still like an interesting character. But Shell and that portal gun, I mean, you know, you only have to get in. Getting out is easy if you have that portal gun.
Yeah, I had GLaDOS as like my hacker character, and then when I saw the narrator, I was like, you cannot put GLaDOS and the narrator from the Stanley Parable on the same team. That is bad.
They'd just be bickering the whole time.
I have a question for you guys. So during or after the heist, what character do you think would be the best master detective trying to foil the heist or solve the crime?
There's a lot of good detectives.
Same rules as. That's an interesting question. So from all of the games we covered,
a much more important question, and that is which two members of your heist team hook up?
Let's handle these one at a time. Although mine is obviously Yuga Ganon and King of all Cosmos.
Oh yeah, those two. Sparks
maybe Yuga Ganon and Dr. Robotnik. But I feel like King of all Cosmos is looking for some.
Detective. It's the insurance adjuster from Return of the Obra Dinn comes back.
That was my first thought.
My
yes.
God. Yeah.
Perfect. Yes.
There is no better choice than that.
Well, the other one that came to mind was Frog Detective.
Yeah, Frog Detective gets the job done, but Obra Dinn person, like, you know, they put it together perfectly.
Actually, the Obra Dinn only works, I think, with dead bodies. So maybe best suited for Nate's team.
Yeah, but it's totally clean crime.
Yeah, we're not everyone is seeing it. That's for
people are getting out alive in mine.
No, our heist is also a statement. So.
It's more performance art.
Mm-hmm.
So who else is hooking up?
It's a really tricky one. I think Victoria Valenci on my team could easily hook up with Gregg. Well, no, I'm sorry. Gregg's gay. He wouldn't be interested. So never mind. Not Gregg.
They would be besties.
They'd be besties, right? You know, would she hook up with Susumu Hori, or would she hook up with Neovend? Now that would be complicated.
Well, Octodad is happily married, so he's not involved in.
I think the obvious answer is she would hook up with the Bard, your fall guy.
Right, and then leave him. Yeah.
Well, yeah, she'd be even more inclined to hook up with him because she knows he's gonna probably die soon, so she has no worries of any commitment.
Precisely.
I'm hoping for sparks between Passepartout and Manny because I really don't want Marissa near.
No. That's a power couple. You want a couple who gets things done.
Oh, it's Manny and Passepartout.
It's Manny and Passepartout.
And then that also keeps them safe from Marissa, who can then go off with our mark and destroy the world. Shane?
I think Turnip Boy seduces Snorpy.
Yeah. Snorpy canonically gay, right?
Yes. Yeah. Snorpy is gay. And he has a history of, I guess, becoming one with vegetables.
Oh, yes.
This is true.
Snorpy loves vegetables.
Is Turnip Boy a bug snacks is the question. He's kind of a...
Is Turnip Boy a bug snacks?
I think we could find out. I think I'd like to see that answer.
Mm-hmm. Well, this was fun. So I know our listeners may not be used to us doing this format of episodes. We've said a couple of times on air that we've switched things up a little bit so that roughly every 4 episodes we're going to be kind of looping back to doing more topic-based stuff, and some of it is going to be, you know, let's a serious topic. Let's talk all about the new games from the.
What a serious topic.
Right, but sometimes they might be goofy stuff like this, and this is
nonsense.
Yes, and we love hot nonsense. So if you have any suggestions for us for topics for these types of episodes when we're not focusing laser like onto a particular game and instead covering something more generally where we're just going to chat about it, let us know. It could be goofy ideas like this, or it could just be more things you'd like to hear us have a conversation about. We're really open to that, and it's something we're doing more of. And so listeners, thank you very much for joining us and bring those ideas to us. You can do that in a few different ways. So first of all, Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Short Game. You can find our show and give us those suggestions on the internet at shortgame.fm. That's the easiest place to find all of our stuff. It's got lots of links and buttons on there. Links to places like our Patreon page, where if you are a patron of the show, you can join our Discord, a great place to chat with us and tell us your heist team picks. But also a great place to drop us suggestions for games or topics or whatever, and just listen to us talking about the games we're playing and chatting about life and all that sort of stuff. And you can find that patreon.com/theshortgame. Patrons at even just $1 a month get access to our Discord. And I'll just say it here. I have plans. Discord makes this a little tricky. I have plans to raise our bottom tier, access from $1 up to something a little higher. So if the idea of joining at the $1 level is attractive to you, we're not going to be kicking anybody off the $1 tier if you're on it. But if you wait, that lowest level tier is going to go up a little bit. So if that's something that's a factor for you, hey, join now and you'll be getting in on the ground floor. I don't have a specific date for when I'm making that change, but
take a look at that $5 tier that gets you stickers. You never know, that might go up as well. I haven't discussed that with Reagan, but those are some high quality stickers.
Very high quality stickers. And listen, we really appreciate all of our patrons. Even if you are at the $1 level, you make a huge difference to us. We would never look askance at anybody supporting us at any level. We super appreciate it. But the general wisdom on Patreon these days is that you should have your first level tier be a little higher than that, and that helps with engagement or whatever. And we're just sort of going with the flow, and I think it is probably the right move. So that is something that we're likely going to be doing here pretty soon. But I am giving folks a heads up if that's something I've really been meaning to sign up at that $1 level. Maybe now's the time. And let's see, you can find our show on the internet at, I mentioned shortgame.fm. You can find us on Mastodon, that we're at shortgame at mastodon.social. There's a link on the shortgame.fm page. You can also find me on Mastodon. I'm Reagan, that's RAYGAN at bird.rodeo. Shane, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at 8bitshane and on Mastodon at 8bitshane at mstdn.social.
And Nate, where can people find you?
On Twitter at NateSTL and Mastodon NateSTL at bird.rodeo.
And Laura, where can people find you?
I am not on Twitter as much anymore, though you can still reach me at Laura J. Nash. Mostly I'm hanging out at Mastodon, Laura J. Nash at bird.rodeo.
And listeners, once again, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of The Short Game.